Welcome back, guys. Another great video coming up. Today we've got Des, our other friend here, Tony. First thing we're going to do is try and get some fresh mullets. We've got some great gear to show off today, including the Condor Pro. We have the SLX Okuma range of drone rods to try out. Winding in this one, and at the same time, the one on the right is also going off as well. So we've been talking about lithium batteries, 10,000 and 5,000 milliamps. So we've got both of those today. Also, we've got a unique behind the scenes special on today's video on how we prepare ourselves for fishing. Also, we're going to highlight our target snapper hooks on today's video. Join us as we go fishing West Coast. Try out some of these drone rods with our electric reels. 12-foot SLX by Okuma, absolute beast of a rod. You'll find that on the SLX, this one's actually got a bit more of a butt section than some of the other drone rods around the 12 to 14 feet, which tend to have a butt rod section like that. It looks really good. There we go, and so just to give you a heads up, these are the marks that we turn on. Notice I didn't stick it straight down. That's one, guys. And just like that, all done. SLX 12-foot, awesome drone rod. We're going to take that out, so we're going to throw a Tanacom on this one, going to get another one set up, going to throw on the Beastmaster Shimano on that next one. It's going to be exciting stuff. Tanacom 1000, man, I was able to get nearly 1150 meters with 60-pound braid on, so really happy about that. We've got Des in the background putting on some sinkers for us. Awesome teamwork. We're lucky to have one of the 5,000 milliamps batteries today. These things are a work powerhouse. Do not underestimate the size of this little guy. But man, look at this weather today. So I'm using a 3-hook system, and basically what I'm going to do is we're going to use the Condor Pro, and this is our rod. So combined with an 8 and a 3 ounce, that will give us 11 ounces of sinker. So when we fire this guy up, I really want to set him, but the trick to doing it and setting the line in the water is not to have the drag up on your reel. Otherwise it gets, as soon as you drop it and you're just trying to set the sinker in, you've got too much drag. So there's a little bit of a boundary there. So on the second rod, we've got another SLX. This time we're using a 10,000 milliamp lithium battery we've seen in the previous video. And we're pairing it up today with this bad boy, the Shimano Beastmaster. An awesome piece of machinery. If you're in a market of buying electric reel for your drone fishing and you want to take it up another level, definitely look into either the Shimano Forcemasters or the Beastmaster range. You can't go wrong with those guys. Amazing componentry, amazing piece of kit, and will elevate your drone fishing up to another level. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 6-hook system on this one. And the reason why that is, I want to go over the differences between a 3-hook mainline and a 6-hook. Rolling. Alright guys, we're going to turn on the drone, so always remote first. Notice how we've got the aerials popping up. Make sure we're on GPS mode, and on the left side we're on full speed. So what this is going to happen, this guy's going to try and find some satellites. We're going to turn our drone on. Important tip number 1, make sure she's facing to where you want to fly. Alright, power button's right down here, switch that on. While that's happening guys, you've got to make sure the aerial is on tight. You don't want to have a bad connection between the aerial and a remote. So tip number 2, make sure that's on tight. And I shouldn't be able to turn it at all. It's done. The best thing about the aerial, you can actually take it off at the end of the day if you don't want to leave it on when you put it into your case. So that's an important little tip. Notice our backbone, there's no winding that could come up and hit the blades upon startup. So that's another very important point for those wondering how we do that. There's a special way we wind up our backbone. So we're going to give that about a minute. I've got green lights on the drone. We'll be ready to go. Actually going to be using Kawai today. The shop that we went to had a bit of an experience and they were out of mullets. So let's put these on and then we'll get this Condor Pro started up and fire it out. All good. Just for those who don't know, basically hold the main line, I push up that, push down like that, on secure. Once I drop my bait, cover it up with a bit of sand because the old seagulls might turn up. On with the next one. That. Lucky last. So as I said, one more time, I press upwards on the main line, press down, bait done, cover it with sand, stops the seagulls. And then we're going to connect to the Condor Pro. Now the beauty about the Condor Pro, it has the Newton 3 which you can actually disconnect from the drone. Bend down, there's a little button on the side like so. So the beauty about that is I just connect them like so, like bang-o. And when I want to fire it up, if I can get the camera just to hold that for me, bend it forward, slide it in, make sure there's no sand in between, and once she slots in, hear that click. Once you got a solid click, you're ready to go. Right, so just before we start guys, I'm going to go over what I've got on the remote. We've got 18 satellites, we're in GPS mode, 100% on the battery. For those who don't know, we've got our distance, height and speed. Now on the west coast, wind is a big factor here. So as soon as we get up in the air, about 35 meters, the wind's going to increase by 40%. So we need to factor that in. So watching your airspeed as she goes out will play a big part, because if the drone gets hit with some pretty strong headwinds, which I will doubt today because we've got a southeasterly, it's going to slow down. So the benefit of this drone, it does have a tension and mechanical release, the best of two worlds into one drone. Absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to start this guy up. I'm swinging a little bit to the left on the drone because I know there's a current that comes up this beach, so I need to kind of prepare myself. When I drop the line, I know that the line's going to swing around to the right. So I'm about 450 meters. I'm about 45 meters high. Speed is around 15 meters a second. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to go out about 750. So what I do is I slowly back off. As it slows down, I can actually release it. So I'm going to hit the return, wind in by manual just for a while, get my star drag up, look around for traffic because I do not want cars coming around. Start winding in. So basically I'm feeling the sinkers on the bottom. The most important part is the star drag. If you have the star drag too hard or right up, it will never set the sinkers. So don't set your star drag on the reel too high, especially on the side of this Tanacom or our Shimano. So at the moment I'm looking at the top of our tip. I'm checking for the load, making sure that the tip is still slightly bent. Job done. Most important, I pick up the remote and I'll wait for that drone to come back down. The reason why I need to hold the remote and watch the drone, in case something happens, I can do adjustments on the drone here. Okay guys, so we've just done the drop. We've brought our rod a bit closer to the water due to the traffic we have on the west coast. We're getting a few little hits already. The most important part about it is you set your drag on this reel. Meaning, if I had to pull it, at least I can pull it a little bit. So if something grabs it and runs, our electric reel and rod doesn't go into the water. Well, we've got a couple of things happening at the same time. Winding in this one, and at the same time, the one on the right is also going off as well. There we go. Another West Coast fish, using the target snapper hooks. So that's about a 55. Here's a behind the scenes video on some of the free applications online we use to help us set up our drone fishing day. So today's August the 1st, so I'm looking around Monday, which would be the 5th of August. So the first thing I need to do is check what the weather's like. There is a lot of services out there that can tell you the weather. I basically stay with Met Service. They give you a 7+ day forecast. So if I'm looking here on the right hand side, I can see that Monday's going to be a little bit cloudy. I'm sure I'm going to have some southeasterlies to deal with. So I'll come over here, look at the 7-day, click on the Monday. Yeah, partially cloudy or isolated showers. So I've got southeasterlies turning southwesterly. The sun rises around 7:15, sunset's about 20 to 6. So I've got a bit of a small time frame to shoot this video and what I need to do. Rightio, the second application I'm going to be using is called Tides Charts. It's free, great app. The best thing about this one, I can actually type in the day I want to go fishing and it will tell me the tides. So I want to go around 5th of August. So it says about high tide is about midday. So drone fishing for us is 2 hours before high tide and 2 hours after. So that's a good window to get out there, do what we need to do, and then pack up and get home before it gets any darker. Windy.com is another free application, especially if you are drone fishing, you want to check the wind. So if I click down the bottom here for Monday the 5th, it's saying that it's around the Beaufort wind scale force of 2, so it's 4 to 6 knots. It's also telling me the wind direction of southeasterly. So I'll keep that in mind when I start casting my line, but this is a very useful app. Before we head out, we need to make sure we're flying our drone in a safe and legal area. AirShare is the perfect application for that. AirShare shows us restricted airspaces and helps us plan our fly path to avoid any no-fly zones. It has a New Zealand map on their website, so you can see what part of the country has any restriction zones. It's easy to log in and sign up, and it also tells you of any situations which you may need to contact before flying your drone. Out of all the applications that I've shown you today, this is the number one. This is the app that's helped me scout locations where I've never been to before. So Google Maps is a must-have for all drone fishermen. It helps you scout areas. It also gives you an idea how accessible it is to get onto the beach if you've never been there before. It also scouts if there's nearby toilets or amenities. The best thing about this app that a lot of people don't know is there's a tool that can help you measure from the beach in meters how far out your drone needs to go. So if I was standing on this beach approximately where I think I'm going to go, I know around 550 meters just to get to behind those breakers is where I'm going to start fishing with my drone. So when I go on Monday, I don't go blindfolded, I'm ready to go. Let's get out, check this out, see how we are today. Let's come up and have a look at this little West Coast penny.
Oh, actually a beauty. Oh!
Yep.
For this gorgeous specimen.
So,
oh mate, sorry.
So this was done on our 3-rig running rig. 3-hook running rig, taken in the middle. So, by
beauty of a fish.
It dares to hold it just with the SLX. So he actually thought it was actually just sinkers coming back, but it was a bit more than a sinker. So well done. Got to get some more lines out there. The SLX really doing the deal with the Panoa offshore, and a happy man as well.
Happy man, all right.
nice West Coast snapper for you. Notice our target hooks are on the side of the jaw, exactly how we want it. Real fatty. So I'm going to get a couple more lines out. Exciting stuff. Check, fella. Now I said to the boys, there's actually 3 of us. I said 3 and 3 snapper. That's us. Okuma using the Fanor 10500 again. There you go. It's probably the smallest one of the day, considering how big some of these other ones have been getting.
Yep.
So awesome on the 3 running hook system. The 3 hook system's about 5.3 meters to 5.4 off my head, excuse that. We used about 130 pounds on this, and basically we use crimps. So from the clip up here down to your first crimp, it's about 1.1 meters, and then we have the first crimp and the second crimp, and it's about 30 centimeters in between. Then we put our target snapper hooks on. This has about approximately 50-pound line. We use the inline swivel clips as well as our famous target snapper hooks. Now we're going to go into this in depth about these hooks and how fantastic they are, and the man who invented it. So that's the first one, and then another 1.1 meters. Here's our second hook all ready to go. Deezer's got it ready, and the lucky last down here, and then right at the end we've got our coast lock clip with our 2 sinkers on it. Dez is using some pretty heavy sinkers today, but mind you, look where we are, West Coast fishing. So as we said, sometimes we have better results using a smaller main line or running rig that compared to our 6. Sometimes the 6 can be more acceptable to drag in the water, but yes, you do get more fish, but it's as for manageable, it can be quite hard to manage. So you really got to know what you're doing with the 6 hook if you want to have that kind of result. But we find with 3 it's easier to set, and yeah, we still find the hookup rate is really good. Another interesting fact to let you in the know for this is that we find that the hooks closest to the sinker get hit the most, and so this very first hook between the sinker to that guy there, he will probably get hit the most out of the 3. Even if you had a 6, the first 2 usually get hit, and the reason for that is it's closer to the bottom, so that's where the snappers and that are going to tend to be, where your trevallies and your other carwise tend to be higher up on the main lines. So that's there's a little bit of a tip for you. Okay guys, so we decided we're going to pack up because, as I said, we only take what we need. No use taking more than what you can actually eat. So there's 3 of us today, so we're taking 3 snappers. We called it, the next fish was basically the end of it. So I'm going to go over the gear wise. So the first thing I had was the toadfish beach spike it actually retracts, and that's used with the Okuma SLX drone rod, 12 foot, 80 pound, 3-piece, and we use the 6-hook system today. And as well, we got the 5,000 milliamp battery. That guy's been amazing, that little fella. Then we got the Catapulting 1000. If I swing across, oh excuse me, past these guys. Then we got the SLX again with the Fenor 10500 with 60 pound braid, approximately around 900 meters. And there's used the 3-hook running system on that. And he did very well on that as well. So here's our little price. We'll come in a little bit early today. Well, it was a bit of an early starter. I did only notify Des yesterday about coming fishing, which I'm glad he did. And this is your typical West Coast snappers. If it gets a bit hard time, don't just stick to one bait. Have at least a good couple to work from, so in case they're not on the bite. Just to give you a heads up on that. Also our target snapper hooks, which we've been talking about, amazing hooks. Instead of me talking about the target hooks, why don't I give it to the guy who invented the target hooks, Paul Barnes.
But your ones are totally different, aren't they? Tell me the difference.
Yeah, the ones that we found are a better hook are actually ones that are recurved, where the point points below the eye. One of the main things the Ministry of Fisheries was interested in is reducing gut hooking in snapper. About 30% of our catch can be gut hooked, and when that's undersized, you release it, 98% of gut hook fish die. So we have these incessant arguments about how can we have more fish. I think that what the Ministry wants us to do is actually kill less, but still take as many home. The recurve hook catches 3 times as many as the J-shaped hook that you've just shown. So we figured, well, these are obviously the hook that we want to start with. Another incidental difference is that the J-shaped hook has got gut hooking rates up to 30%. These ones gut hook about 18%. So it's still significantly high, but it's a hell of a lot better than the previous ones.
Okay, so what was the solution to that?
The solution we came up with, Jeff, was we put these wires on the back, and these are similar to what we came up with some years ago for the commercial sector. And when the Ministry of Fisheries done a major analysis, I think they spent $100,000, they went out, run tens of thousands of hooks. By putting the wire on the back of a normal longline hook, it reduced mortality and released fish by 98%. Mm-hmm. The other thing that happened was it reduced the catch of undersize by 50%, and we found a similar outcome with these hooks that have the better catch-up rate. Put the wire on, halves your catch of small fish, and you're still getting 20% more than a Jap hook, and still 2.5 times as much as your J hook. They're a great hook.
Well, that's obviously the way to go, isn't it? I mean, if we can cut down the number of small fish we catch, also cut down the number of fish that swallow it, more hooked in the mouth, you can release them whatever the size. So these will be available soon to the fishermen?
Yeah, they will. And I mean, the thing is, you kill only what you want to keep. Everything else, you can just let it go.
We're going to finish off with our target snapper hooks, how it started years ago, and we're going to run through all the people that pulls fishing up to today. So thanks for joining us. If you have any comments or anything you want to say, just leave it down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.